Hello, beautiful, shining, shiny beings. Hello, hello, hello. Thank you so much for dropping by this video. Got a really interesting comment I wanted to respond to. This person wrote, "Hi, thank you for sharing your thoughts on non-duality and its toxicity. This channel has helped me enormously to get out of a group and rethink what is spirituality. In fact, through watching your vids and reading about non-duality was how I got out of a cultish spiritual group." Oh, and thank you for being among few on the internet who is still not done with the tumor that is non-dual renunciate spirituality. There are still people out here trapped in it. There aren't many out there that talk about it in depth. You are the perfect. This is a compliment, so I maybe have trouble with compliments. You are the perfect person to do this because you have the sensibilities of someone who's been through that hell, but remained elegant about speaking about such false teachings. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So first of all, it's stuff like this that makes my day. Make no mistake about it. Neo-Advaita, fake non-duality, is a cult. And it's a mental cult occasionally, and here's an example where it actually does become a physical cult. Make no mistake about it. um, Fake non-duality, and so far as I can tell, about 95, 96, 97% of the non-duality out there is fake non-duality, is an absolute cult. And to hear that I had a part in helping someone escape from not just the mental cult of Neo-Advaita, but an actual cult. Oh, wow, wow, wow. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So grateful. Mhm. So, mhm, mm, non-dual, the tumor that is non-dual renunciate spirituality. Wow. That's a phrase, my friend, the person who wrote this. Well said. So, here's the thing. There's nothing wrong with being a monk or nun if you're going to be a monk or nun. Like, if that's your calling, boom, go for it. Um, and if it's not your calling, trying to pursue it will F you up beyond words. I speak from experience. It will put you at absolute war with yourself. From the doshas, the three qualities of the mind, what it does, it almost like creates a split personality. Because on the one hand, you have the dosha of sorry, not the dosha, the gunas. The doshas are Ayurveda. The guna of rajas, desire. And then on this other hand, you have this suppression of desire. This like and so I developed kind of like this fake renunciate personality, whereas like I was wanting stuff all the time, and half the time I was doing things, and the other half of the time I was like, oh, nothing matters, it doesn't really matter, all that matters is consciousness. Oh, but I want this, and I feel this inspiration for this, and I want to do this, and I want to go on this trip. Nothing matters, I am consciousness. To put me at absolute war with myself. um and so, like, if you wanna renounce, and I've met people, I have a friend who he's like a householder renunciate. He doesn't pursue things, but he's not a monk either, but he has a monkish mentality. Like, he's just not interested in, happiness in the world, and he even has a relationship too, um, and a very committed relationship, but it's more just, like, for balance and harmony, and he loves this person, and it works for him, and that's great. I would not try and change that person for the I love this he just radiates love. But if you try and be a monk or nun and you're really not, or you try and be a monk or nun because you're really depressed, which was another trick I tried. If you try renunciate spirituality from like, oh, I just, oh, I'm depressed. And then you're like, yes, there's no happiness in the world, but it's coming from a depressed place. That doesn't work either. I tried that. um, so Ramana Maharshi said that self-inquiry is only for those, I'm paraphrasing here, but who have lost all interest in worldly things. And I don't believe like clinical depression counts based on my own experience. So my view is you shouldn't even be until you're like the meaning of my life is freedom from samsara and or I have no interest, little to no interest in worldly things, and that's coming from a clear place and not a depressed place. You shouldn't even be thinking about non-duality. You shouldn't be, it'll just mess you up. I speak from my experience. I'm not the only one. People, more and more people are dropping by this channel, sharing their experience. So the reason why is it all comes down to desire. Traditional non-duality is about renunciation of desire, but desire is the primal force in life. Desire drives everything. So it's kind of like tinkering with the splitting of the atom, except it's inside of you. If you want to try and reconfigure your your relationship with desire, and you try and do it on your own, or you try and do it through watching a bunch of YouTube videos or going to a spiritual quote satsang, but then not having direct guidance from an awake, liberated being, good luck. Good luck, good luck, good luck. Do, 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 do. It is hell. I love that this person named it because you're at absolute war with yourself. And while you're still in it, there's no resolution. Because on the one hand, I am just consciousness. I don't need anything as consciousness. I don't want anything like that. That's your direct experience. But then your other direct experience is I want shit. Like, I want this and I want that. And oh, I'm inspired by that. And oh, that doesn't feel good. I need to move away from that. So I call it premature renunciation. And the other premature bloodadation is just not fun and embarrassing. Premature renunciation will drive you crazy. I appreciate this person's positive feedback. I just do the best I can based on my own experience. And, this person, part of how they got out, it sounds like they read actual non duality, or maybe they read the Gita or they read the real deal. Um, that's what saved me was reading the Gita. But even so, it took me many, many years. So, comments like that rock my world. Let's see if there's anything else I want to share. Do. Mhm. To rethink what is spirituality. That's one of the things. Neo-Advaita, Neo-Advaita will say all that matters is consciousness, as the experience of consciousness. There may be some, I think there's some truth to that. I would deny the all part, um, but the thing, and so that belief will start to gobble up everything else. And that, let's see, so what do I want to say? So that belief for me became like a fundamental belief, and that's what put me at war with myself. But until someone's ready for that, it's a very dangerous belief. Very, very dangerous. I have a friend who he had a profound Kundalini awakening as a child, like a pretty intense awakening, and good karma and grace. He found traditional teachers, and over the years, he studied with traditional teachers, and some of them sound like even masters. And, uh, he in his view, he's a Neo-Advaita, he says is demonic, that anyone who's teaching it is really under the influence of demons. At first I thought, "Wow, that's a little strong," but actually, whether you believe in demons or not, uh, and I do, but it's okay if you don't, um, but I believe he's actually accurate. So, let's just say that classical non-duality is true. Let's pretend I don't think it's the truth at all, but let's pretend it is. If you teach someone all that matters is consciousness, the experience of consciousness before they're ready, it just it wreaks havoc. It wreaks havoc. Basically, that's the same thing of as that statement is the exact same thing as saying you have to become a monk or nun. Can you imagine? Can you imagine um Can you imagine how violent that would be to go around to each let's just walk around your neighborhood and be like, "You have to become a monk or nun. You have to renounce everything." That would be an act of emotional and mental violence if you could sort of enforce that on people. Well, that's what that belief does. That belief forces people to renounce before they're ready. And it's the karma that these people are reaping who are teaching this. I would not want to be them in their next life. I would, uh, well, in their next life, they'll probably, well, anyway, that's neither here nor there. That's conjecture. So, again, I'm not opposed to renunciate path for someone who's ripe for it, but yeah, I've never said it before, but Neo-Advaita is violent, not in the sense of but in the sense it's an act of violence, it's an act of harm, and the worst is the people who are teaching it think they're helping people, and, some of them have had some kind of awakening experience, and they think they're enlightened, and they can guide people, and, yeah. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining in. I don't think you have to renounce everything. I don't think Neo-Advaita is absolutely not the path, and non-duality is just one sub-school of one school. There's 6 main schools of Hindu philosophy. Advaita Vedanta, traditional non-duality, is just one sub-school. It's currently the most popular school, but if you count all the major sub-schools, like, I'm just guesstimating, maybe there's 50 or 60. So that's the last thing I started with it, and I wanna close with it. Non-duality is not the only way. That's part of how whether or not it's the highest truth, not for me to say. I'm not a master, I'm just a yogi. On my good days, I'm devoted. On my not good days, I'm lazy and watching too many YouTube videos. So that's not for me to say, but that's part of what's taught. This is the highest truth. But what I can say with absolute assurity is it is not the only path. Ramana Maharshi himself taught this over and over and over. He taught the path of surrender, and he also taught other techniques such as pranayama, japa, repetition of a mantra, worship, prayer. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining in. Thank you for this beautiful comment. And I'm so happy for you that you made it out. And now begins the reconstruction. Take care. Big love.